tab 9 is the selectmen budget, and as you can see, it involves one individual who works half-time. She's a excellent employee who's been with us for an extended period of time. It simply covers the cost of her services together with the cost of providing a evening secretary to take minutes at the board of selectmen.
So both of them.
They're both in there. The detail is provided.
Any questions?
There's nothing in there for you, Mr. Chairman.
I was
Like the
counting on a
chair.
raise this year too.
Double your salary.
How about what you got last year,
It's
Bob?
not a bad idea.
Double your salary.
The final piece of the administration budget is town council, which would be tab 8. The proposed budget is for $90,000. The breakdown is provided. General legal services, which are the cost the town council has in responding to questions by staff through boards and committees, attendance at town meeting, reviewing the warrant. All of those are considered general services, and they are shown as professional services for $60,000 in fiscal year 2009. That is a fairly predictable amount. The only thing that does cause that amount to change is litigation, where the town is named as a defendant in a lawsuit. We have a right and an obligation to defend ourselves. So ultimately, as lawsuits are filed against the town, items that we cannot predict, that cost may go up. Thus far, we've been reasonable in capping that cost
Of course, that's why we have them.
to defend us.
No, to provide
Keep us
advice
out of
so
court.
that we don't end up.
Well, as you know, sometimes the first notice you get of a lawsuit is when someone walks in the door and serves you.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
And we find that in the municipal field, that happens more than it used to happen.
Greg, this doesn't reflect the entire amount of money that goes to town council,
It does not, it does not reflect
because
it.
it comes out of other places.
There are really, a couple of areas that it comes out of. As the Hillview mentioned, when they utilize town council services to build the Hillview, there also is an amount that's billed to the water department. The water department works as an enterprise fund, and, as they incur town council services, they quote separately.
This past year, it's been Eisen.
And Eisenhower's would, that money comes directly from the monies that are set aside for the Eisenhower claims.
The money we spent on Barry.
The money we spend on the berry is the same way. The last item that I failed to mention is anyone that has a Chapter 40B or an affordable housing project in town, a matter before the ZBA, they're required to post an amount of money up front, and any services required by town council in reviewing the application and issuing a permit, that ultimately is paid for by the applicant. So,
How easy is it to get a total dollar number that we paid attorneys this year?
Joe could press a button and come up with that number. I put him on the spot. I think it's pretty easy to come up with, based upon being able to just segregate out what we've paid to that by vendor. And come up with it.
Did you do that, Paul?
No, absolutely.
The last item,
We also have, where's Attorney Capola?
comes in out of the tax title account, so the treasurer has an amount of money that she budgets every year for tax title. And we would pay for our tax title attorney out of that account.
That's why that's the question, I'd like to understand when it's paid out to.
The other thing, as far as Attorney Capola, this is kind of an aside, we haven't, I don't ever recall reappointing him. Because I don't recall appointing him, and I don't recall reappointing him either. I mean, he really isn't, we have town council that we act on every year.
Well, as an appointment, I mean, we've hired other attorneys for things we didn't appoint them.
I'd have to check in. It could be that the board of selectmen have to appoint, let us,
I'm just,
let me touch base.
just as an aside. He doesn't show up anywhere, I guess,
Right.
the treasurer's, and again, we correspond with us on occasion.
more now than
Yeah,
before.
but on
Not than
occasion-
before.
And he's been our counsel in that area for years.
Never seen him.
He actually, I've met him, he was here present when we were auctioning land in this past summer, he was here and ran the auction. The other item, there's one other item I wanted to mention before there's questions that come up on the legal account, is labor. We do budget an amount of money for labor. As I had noted in my earlier comments, we manage the number of labor contracts, 7 contracts. Each of those contracts contain grievance provisions, they contain arbitration provisions, and as claims get filed, we review the merits of each claim, and we decide whether those claims should be, what extent those claims should be defended. Ultimately, that decision, as you know, comes before the Board of Selectmen, and we review that information in detail. So, that's the labor side. Sometimes things get bumped up to the state level, you end up with the State Labor Relations Board, and again, those costs would come from this budget. That's it.
Any questions?
Let's talk about employee benefits. Tab 5. Employee benefits budget, for those who have heard this presentation before, is second only to the school department in terms of its size. It's larger than the police budget, the fire budget, and the DPW budget, all taken obviously individually. It is the greatest portion of the budget that increases every year. This is the budget that when individuals see that their tax bills are going up and they see a cut in services and they don't understand why, this is primarily the culprit. This is the 800-pound gorilla that throws the budget out of balance. And I was very intrigued by the article that I read in the Boston Globe today that indicated the governor was looking to shift health insurance costs from state employees onto the employees to relieve the state of some additional financial burden.
I was thinking if you
And
read that article.
when I read it, I was intrigued because the next step is, well, the town should be doing that. And in fact, the town cannot do that because legally the town doesn't have the same flexibility that the governor has in terms of shifting costs. So there are a lot of creative things that we would like to do that are more difficult to achieve on the local level than they are on the state level or on the private level. So it is a dilemma, is the way I would term it. So in terms of the detail, understand that we are very early in the budget cycle for our health insurance. Health insurance renews on August 1st of every year, slightly off cycle from the fiscal year. And we would not be getting our health insurance quote, our firm quote in until the end of this month. So what we've done is we've made an assumption based upon our recent increases in our history of an amount that we think represents the upper limit. And this is the upper limit, folks. You know, a 15% increase in health insurance represents about as high as you can possibly go. And it assumes no changes to our existing insurance plan, status quo in terms of benefit and coverages. We've talked at great length about other options, and those will be thoroughly explored going forward in an effort to drive this cost down. And when that happens, then ultimately we can go back and we can look at revisions to our budget. The other items in here that are cost factors that we have little control over is county retirement. County retirement shows an increase of 8%. That is a factor of the number of employees that we have who have retired, who are out of the town's payroll and receiving a pension. The town's county retirement assessment does not go to pay the cost of any existing employees. All existing employees, when they contribute to their pension account, contribute solely on their own. So the town, unlike Social Security, the town is not a participant in contributing to the employee's county retirement, active employee's pension. So that is an amount that we budget, and it's an amount that we're stuck with. Quite frankly, a unlike the health insurance, it offers us even less flexibility to manage that number than it does on the health insurance. The other item in here that, is,
Yeah. So, yeah, we're funding it on a pay-as-you-go basis.
Yes.
And this is what we're talking about, the business unfunded liability, but, we're doing a pay-as-you-go basis, so we're taking contributions every week from employees, paying them the county retirement fund. But those are not the funds that are paying the current retiree. Is there some point where this is actually gonna reduce?
The only way this reduces that I can see is as retirees pass away and they come off the roll.
Oh, it is, yeah, but
Replaced by others. They're replaced by others.
Well,
But there's,
at a higher
but
rate,
there's
yeah.
not necessarily,
But at a higher rate.
it's not a one-for-one
Right.
typically.
realistically, you ask me if I see it, I don't see it reducing. I mean, maybe years down the road.
Well, there was, we were paying an extra penalty for investments that were poorly made.
Through Middlesex County.
Right.
The money paid in is invested.
Yes.
It's invested
And
wisely, you pay less.
It's been alleged,
Poorly, we
it's
pay
been
more.
alleged that, we would see a reduction in the growth, looking out there a couple of years. And I've heard the story every year, though.
Well, I can tell you that it's continuing to rise, and like health insurance, when you start applying an 8 or 10 or 15% increase to an already big number, the impact is significant. It gobbles up almost all the available revenues. 10% of a smaller number we know is a minimal impact. 10% on a $4.4 million number, or 16% of a $4 million number is dire. It uses almost all the available funds that we have. There is one other item in here that I do want to mention. It's the Medicare account. We budget an amount for Medicare, which is for our active employees. It's tax based upon payroll. And as older employees leave the system, the town's obligation to pay Medicare tax on its new employees increases at a disproportionately greater share. For example, if there were an employee who had been working in the town as a long-term employee, let's say 25 years, prior to the institution that all employees have to pay Medicare tax, that employee would be grandfathered, and the town would not have a responsibility for paying Medicare tax on the portion of that individual's payroll. When that person leaves service, the new person coming on board the town is subject to the Medicare tax reform. And both the town and the employee pay that percentage and pay that share. So when you see a 6% increase in there, that's reflective of the fact that it increases according to our payroll increasing, but it also has to increase in accordance with the fact that we have older employees leaving and newer people coming on board who are now subject to the reform.
Greg, when I looked at the percentage increase, this is off of the audit report, for county retirement, for, here are the contributions of 2005, 6, and 7 listed, and it was 13.4% from 2005 to 6, and 13% from 2006 to 7. You're projecting 8%. Is that a number you've got from retirement, or?
It's it's a number that we would have gotten in consultation with the Middlesex County.
So it's not something that's.
It's not a thing.
So that shows a little bit of reduction in percentage if the figures here in the